Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart, joined as always by Bruce Barber. Bruce, here we are rolling along, Season 4. Hard to believe, isn't it?
J-Dub, I cannot even put into words how I have missed you.
Thank you.
It's been a long, cold, lonely summer. But we were back with a new season of Charger 360. You know what I realized? We should give maybe a little before we get to our, what a first guest, but tell a little about ourselves again, just to orient our fantastic audience.
It's a good point. I can't assume that everyone's been with us since Episode 1, Season 1.
That's right.
So again, welcome to Charger 360. This is the official video podcast of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart. I'm a sport management professor here at the university. I've been here since 2018. I have my master's degree in sport management from University of New Haven. Prior to getting into higher education, I worked for a long time in sports media and broadcast television. I worked 12 years as an ESPN anchor and another 4 at NBC Connecticut as a sports anchor and reporter.
Yes, he said ESPN.
Yes, the 4 magic letters.
That's
right. The worldwide leader.
And my name is Bruce Barber. I have had what I describe as the most bizarre radio career in history. I started in college radio at Hobart College. I became the morning host of a radio show in Buffalo, New York. It was called Morning Sickness. I kid you not. Then for 18 years, I was the host of Smith & Barber, the morning show on WPLR in New Haven. Then joined Connecticut Public Radio, WNPR, where I'm still an independent producer. And then the best part of my career for the last almost 10 years, I have been the general manager of 88.7, our award-winning, 88.7 WNHU, our award-winning radio station here at the University of New Haven.
We could go on.
Yes, let's do.
But this is not about us.
Okay. What?
Let's introduce our guest. Our guest is Devin Crosby, who is the athletic director here at the University of New Haven. He's been here a year. A lot's gone on in the year, which we'll talk about here on the show. Devin, first of all, a belated welcome to the University of New Haven and welcome to Charger 360.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
So good to have you here. So what led you to the University of New Haven? How'd you end up on our incredible campus?
I'm working at the Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I get a phone call or I hear about the New Haven, University of New Haven athletic director job opening up. And I was a Division II athlete in my career. So I always followed the University of New Haven. I ran track in college at Slippery Rock University. So when I saw that role, I think my wife called me quicker than I can call her. And she said, get us back to the East Coast. She's from New York. She's from Albany, New York, my wife, Cindy. And I said, you know what, this is University of New Haven. I'm going to definitely look into this one. So as we started to explore through the position, and I got a chance to meet Jens Fredrickson. When I met Jens, I remember going back to my wife, Cindy, and I said, that person is someone I need to work for. He has a vision. He knows exactly what he wants to see for this institution. And I could tell that University of New Haven was at an inflection point. And I said, I got to be a part of this.
Yeah.
It was just that simple.
Well, a lot's happened in the year that you've been here. We mentioned that this is actually perfect. The timing of you being here is perfect based on what happened back in May. So it's long been a dream here of the University of New Haven, going back decades, to make the transition from Division II athletics to Division I athletics. That became a reality in May. It officially became a Division I institution in July. Devin, give us all a peek behind the curtain and let us know how this all came to be. What's that story?
I tell you, it's fascinating because I had heard some of the things about the University of New Haven too, with that interest in going Division I, and for whatever reasons, the decision was made not to go Division I. So I literally entered into this position saying we're going to be the best NCAA Division II program that we could possibly be. So we just established, or I should say Jens establishes the branch campus in Saudi Arabia. He just gets back from the long flight. I'm in his office. And the topic of the conversation was, how do we use athletics to make sure we're asserting all the good things happening? I mean, quite frankly, what we have done here with the research and development park, what we've done with the branch campus in Saudi Arabia, I said, what can athletics do to help? In that very conversation, I get a text message from a trusted source saying, if the University of New Haven wants to go Division I, they got to go now because there's going to be a moratorium.
Wow.
No more Division II or Division III schools can reclass to Division I. I looked at Jens and I said, we have to make a decision. Jens looked at me, and within 5 days, myself, Brian Otis, George Sinoti, and Greg Eichhorn, we got together in a room and figured it out within 5 days.
That is phenomenal.
That was, we made the decision.
Wow, and how is it different, Division I versus Division II or Division III?
I would say precisely, Bruce. Division II would be an amazing looking 10-speed. The wheels are beautiful. The chain is beautiful. Division I's a Tesla. No disrespect to the 10-speed. Yep. I was a Division II athlete, and I loved my experience. But Division I is much more entrepreneurial. There is much more freedom of creativity. Where Division II has a certain set of standards that you're going to follow to do what you need to do to play your games, participate in your games. Where Division I, it's basically what you can dream is what you can achieve.
Wow.
So when you make the move, or when any institution makes the move to go from D2 to D1, it's not just an athletics move, Devin.
Yes.
This affects the whole university. How so?
Yes. The entire campus community literally goes Division I. So one of the metrics we had to meet just to actually even get the invitation for the NCAA, working with Noreen Morris, our commissioner of the NEC, was we had to meet academic benchmarks. So we were able to show the NCAA Division I that academically, University of New Haven has always competed at a achieved at a very high level. But we also had to show some budgetary, that we were meeting some budget marks. We met those marks at a base level. But the thing that was the most important thing to get that invite, because you have to get a conference invitation first, was Jens Fredrickson had to appeal to the other presidents of the NEC. If you don't get an invite from a Division I conference, you don't get in.
Wow.
So Jens did an amazing, I wasn't there in that meeting, but Jens
It is very political, isn't it?
It can be very political because you're talking about other institutions. They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the position of University of New Haven. So, but Jens did an amazing job appealing to those other presidents. And it has to be about an 80% or better approval rating just to get the invitation. So Jens doesn't appeal to those other presidents, we don't get in Division I.
Wow.
It's just that simple.
I like Jens.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons
nice
to
guy.
like him.
He's a really nice guy, and I like you. And let me tell you something. I like when good things happen to good people. So you start this Division I program, what a great story. And then one of the first athletic competitions is a soccer game, men's soccer. And you get this epic scissors kick for a goal, and you got a great, was it a student?
It was a student, yeah.
Student
Connor,
shooting video.
yes.
It's got what, over a million views now?
Views.
Tell that story.
Yes, and what's interesting about that, Bruce, is starting off is our original first game was women's soccer versus Brown University. We had over 3,000 fans at that first game for women's soccer.
Wow.
So I think it really showed that when you're playing at the Division I level, if you schedule appropriately, you can change the dynamics of the campus engagement. We had students, I could hear students at the match saying, I've never been to a sporting event in my life. But now that we're Division I, they were there. But then you take just 3 days later, there we are, we're playing Providence. They were in I want to say the round of 32 for the NCAA championships not too long ago. And here we go, it's 0-0. You get the scissors kick, that happens, and everything changes. Yep. Literally everything changes. 1 million views. I've spoken with people from ESPN, from Fox Sports, CBS, just based off that.
It became the #1 play on SportsCenter's top plays on ESPN. And like we had just started playing Division I athletics. Shout out to obviously the soccer player who made the kick.
Yes.
And Connor Deline,
yes.
who shot it. Connor came through our undergraduate program here and is a grad in our graduate program in GA now in our athletic communications department. So it kind of all came together.
And Coach Tommy Matera, he's an amazing recruiter. Yeah. He understands finding the right fit. And Tommy did an amazing job this year in recruiting.
Well, that seems like the United Nations.
He's done a great job. Yes, he did. Tommy will go anywhere and everywhere to get the most talented young men on that program. And that's one thing I love about Tommy.
Yep. It's interesting. Let's talk a little bit more about the student athletes, because you're talking about how it changes the mindset. And you said just the regular students come. I've never been to a sporting event, but now we're D1. I want to see what this is all about. How has it changed, as you've been here for a year? How has it changed for the student athletes who were here last year as Division II athletes and now are Division I athletes? What's changed for them? How do you see them and the way they approach things?
I'm so glad you asked that question, JD. But what's so interesting is that the campus changes, the athletic department changes, the resources need to change, but for the student athlete, actually very much doesn't change. Okay. This is what I said to our student athletes the day before the very first day of classes on August 24th. Dave Peterson was here, Jens was here, and we spoke to all 637 of our student athletes. And I said the only difference between us and Brown is we have better colors. The only difference between us and Marist and Yale and Syracuse and Vanderbilt, we have better colors. They are 18 to 23, you are 18 to 23. Yep. And we deserve to be in this moment.
Yep. Well, this is going to be an interesting moment. So basketball, are they starting to train now? Are they?
Yeah, basketball's in full.
They're really in
full
train.
train.
So they're going to have we're going to have our first game as a Division I team. And I guess, J-Dub, they set up a nice, easy opponent.
Yeah, on the road.
On the road.
Nothing like just jumping in the pool.
At least you're in the same state. You're not traveling too far.
Not a bad trap, so we don't get tired.
Yep.
But we go down the road to Gamble Pavilion and play the Yukon Huskies.
Yes. I'm going to tell you, there's something about Ted. Ted has this tenacity. He understands. He's a Division I coach, and he understands what it takes to expose the institution, but also give the student athletes a great experience. So if you think about in the first 5 days of the college basketball season, we will go to the University of Connecticut, we will host Columbia, and then we'll host Penn State. Incredible. All in 5 days.
With minimal travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Very minimal travel.
But you're going to get a lot of experience. Just give us, again, a peek behind the curtain. How do these games get done? Like how does UNH end up playing UConn? How do we get Penn State to come here to play us on campus?
Particularly in sports like football and basketball, Ted and I work very, very closely. Okay. So Ted is calling his contacts. I'm calling my contacts. It's really about relationships. Yep. So there's going to be a lot of conversations, late at night, text messages, Ted and I going back and forth. Matter of fact, he texted me yesterday. We haven't signed it yet, but we're going to be playing, let's just say, at SEC school next year. Okay. So literally, Ted is texting me in real time saying, hey, what do you think? I'm like, that's great. And then I'm telling him, hey, this is what I have. And just literally, that's that constant back and flow relationship you have with your basketball coach.
So now another thing that's obviously really important with a Division I program is having great facilities. Yeah. And one of the things I love about this university is our alums are so generous and so supportive. And one of those wonderful alums has been Jeff Hazel over the years. So could you talk a little about the renovations to the Jeffrey P. Hazel Athletics Center?
Yes. So I would say Jeff Hazel has been single-handedly one of the most influential people I've actually watched impact the institution at all the various schools I've worked at, and that's irrespective of division. So Jeff has already been a strong contributor to the institution, strong contributor. And it's April. We hadn't quite yet went Division I yet, but we were still thinking about it. So Jens, myself, and Brian Otis knew that we needed to obviously raise our resources. So I'm sitting in my office, minding my own business, and I get put on a Zoom call, and Jens and Brian Otis are in Orlando with Jeff. All I had to do is just say, Jeff, we need you. This is why this is going to be important. And within literally, I would say less than 10 minutes, Jeff committed all that. It ended up being an $8 million gift in total. Yeah. But here's what Jeff said. Jeff said, I believe in what Jens is doing. I believe in New Haven, and I got to feel this athletic director has a sense of what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So I am going to move forward with this project. And we're so thankful for Jeff. Literally, it's going to transform the Hazel Athletic Center.
Can we get on a Zoom call with Jeff Hazel?
Do you need $8 million for the radio station?
Oh, we could really spruce things up. Let me tell you something.
So even though the University of New Haven made this announcement in May and it officially went Division I in July, there is a reclassification period. Yes. Can you please give our audience a sense of some of these benchmarks that will happen over the next couple of years?
So there's three key benchmarks. If you put them in, let's say in pods, you have your academic pod, then you're going to have your budgetary pod, like your scholarships, what are you providing? And then there's going to be the student experience pod. So if you look at the first one, which is going to be basically sheer on the academic progress, are we graduating our student athletes at the flow that they should be graduating in? Mm-hmm. So they want to make sure that kids are graduating in 5 to 6 year period. And that's important because that's why we're here at the beginning of the day. But then the second pod they're going to be looking at is the scholarships. Are we investing in our student athletes the same, let's say, same level as the other schools that are Division I. They're not going to expect us to give what we're giving maybe Alabama or Tennessee, but they want to see that we're actually, giving them some type of scholarship support. But that third one's a student experience. That's going to be mental health. That's going to be athletic training. That's going to be making sure that we're taking care of our students. And that's the secret spot where we do really, really well at the University of New Haven. It's basically our ethos. Our ethos is one word, it's care. We literally care for the human good with every single one of our student athletes.
And before we let you go, we like to ask our guests to make a pitch for future students, for the next generation. So what would you say to potential student athletes that are considering coming to the University of New Haven?
I'll tell you what, Bruce, this is why Division I is so important for us. With so much freedom of movement of student athletes now, transfer portal, NIL, the revenue share, we have that secret, and it goes back to that again. And I'll say it one more time, it's care for the human good. When we have young people that are looking at the University of New Haven, we're going to make sure they're not being treated like a commodity. Or at some places that's happening now because of the revenue share and because of the transfer portal. We're going to care for these young people. We're going to be able to look at two parents or a parent or a grandparent in the eye and say, we're going to take care of your daughter. We're going to take care of your son.
Right.
That's what we're here to do.
Right. They're not numbers. They're not
Yes.
dollar figures or dollar signs. Right. They're human beings. They're going to be
Yep.
treated as such here at the University of New Haven. That's
All
beautiful.
637 of them.
Yep. Amazing.
So great, yeah.
Amazing. Devin Crosby, our athletic director here at the University of New Haven. Thanks for being here on Charger 360. Again, congratulations on the Division I move, and Bruce and I look forward to seeing all the athletes compete and succeed.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. And that'll wrap up this episode of Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. If you're interested in being on the show, it's simple. All you gotta do is email Bruce or I, bbarber@newhaven.edu, or jstewart@newhaven.edu. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on Charger 360.